All right, this is Arthur Bush. You're listening to Radio Free Flint. Today's episode and its guest is a Flintstone. His name is Connor Coyne. He's an author. Welcome to Radio Free Flint, Connor.
Thanks for having me.
Connor, I invited you on Radio Free Flint to talk about your books, especially the one that's coming out, Urbantasm. Urbantasm, is that it?
That's it.
Okay. And your background is quite interesting. You have published several books, actually, and your publishing experience also includes some blog articles and so forth, including some well-known national publications such as at Vox.com, Belt Magazine, which is a magazine dedicated to the working class Midwesterners, I guess. Now, your book, Urbantasm, is actually part of I think it's a 4-part series. Tell us the trailer version of this book. If I'm turning it on to watch the movie and I don't know if I want to watch it, give me that version of the book.
Sure. Well, it's a serial novel, so they have to be read in order to make sense. So kicking off the first one, you have a 13-year-old boy named John Bridge, and he's about to start junior high, and he's really excited. He's got a plan to become one of the most popular kids in 7th grade in his new junior high school in Poway, Michigan, which is based on Flint. But on the first day of school, he steals a pair of strange sunglasses from a homeless person. And this kind of plunges him into this conflict involving different gangs and feuding families across the city, and a magical drug that has the ability to distort space, and basically just sort of the floor falls out from beneath him. So that's sort of how the story launches.
And then how does it end? No, you don't have to tell me that. So one question I had of you was this series of books essentially is set in Flint, Michigan. Correct. And it's set in the town that you grew up, I assume.
Yes, it takes place during the 1990s.
Now, were you born in Flint?
I lived in the city until I was 11 years old, over by kind of like the Franklin Longway area, just south of Longway, actually. And then about when I was 12, my parents moved out to Flushing, where my grandma lived, and I went to Flushing schools from there until through the rest of high school.
Okay, so you're from the Flint area. Now, the book informs, at least a good part of it does inform life in the city itself.
Yes, yeah, it was very much.
Yeah, you're not writing about Flushing or some other place, I take it.
It's a Flint book for sure. Although you do have few scattered chapters that take place in the suburbs here and there, and there are characters who are based in the suburbs. But yeah, it's definitely it's a Flint book.
And the genre of this book, when I did some research, it seemed to say this was for young adults. Who's supposed to read? Who is your intended audience?
Well, that's where things get gnarly with the fine print. So we have marketed this in part to young adults because these days, the way the publishing industry is structured is if you've got protagonists who are young adults, who are teenagers, the assumption is that is the audience for it. And I do think that, this is a book that young people have read and have enjoyed. But from a genre perspective, I would also just say it would be described as magical realism, which is basically like a story where supernatural or extraordinary events happen that are incidental to the setting. So they're not seen as being completely bizarre and fantastical. They're just part of the reality where the books take place. When I wrote these books, I did not have an age in mind for them. I wanted to tell a story that was romantic and compelling and dynamic and complex. And my goal was that anybody who would enjoy it would pick it up and read it. But it does get a little tricky when you get into